Hey, it's Dan Morales. This is Homebuyer Radio. This is episode number 147. Hey, thank you for being a regular listener to the podcast. So many of you are regular listeners, and I just wanted to say thank you. I get a lot of email questions, and most importantly, we've had the opportunity to serve a number of you as clients. So thank you for being part of the Homebuyer Radio family and for giving us the opportunity to serve you. I hope that you continue to find the content in this podcast useful. A lot of it is kind of mortgage centric, right? Because for most of us, we can't pay cash for a house. So the mortgage process is a big part of what we need to do in order to be able to buy a house. So I try to cover a lot of the different areas and places where I see people get tripped up as part of this process. And I wanted to talk, and we've done an episode on this recently, and I've run into this again more within the course of the last week, and it just has to do with going out and shopping for a mortgage, okay? There's nothing wrong with shopping for a mortgage and trying to get the best deal you can get. However, when you're doing that shopping, you need to make sure you're comparing apples to apples, okay? Very tough to do in the world of mortgages, okay? Because if you get a price quote from somebody one day, that price quote could be very different the next day, where you truly are comparing apples to oranges. The other thing is the level of experience or knowledge that one lender has versus another lender can be very different as well too, and it can cost you a lot of money. Now, so often, people, stop strictly at interest rate when they're looking at, shopping for a mortgage. The problem with that is, you didn't take into account the cost. You didn't take into account the cost of any mortgage insurance. You didn't take into account the cost of any other fees that you had as part of, the transaction, or the fact that, possibly your lender, didn't structure the transaction in the way that it was the most advantageous for you, okay? And it's difficult to kind of explain that because there are so many ways a loan can be done that, a true expert is going to take the time to listen to you, understand kind of what your long-term goals are, and then they're going to help you, if you will, put together a package that best helps you hit those objectives long-term. Sometimes the package that helps you do that isn't the lowest interest rate, okay? And you wouldn't know that if the lender didn't take the time to educate you and show you why you should use a different structure, versus what you might think may be the best way to do that. I have done that multiple times with clients, and clients are like, wow, I had no idea. I didn't understand that. Nobody took the time to explain it to me, and that's why I am the expert at what I do. This is why part of why I do this podcast. So I recently ran into a client, and this client, was, hell-bent, if you will, on finding who would do it the cheapest. And there's nothing wrong with, trying to find who's going to do it the cheapest, but didn't want to listen to any of the advice or guidance that we were trying to give them. So there was a point in the transaction where we just respectfully bow out and we let the client, continue that search, and they can find whoever they think is going to do it the cheapest. The person that he wanted to compare us to was somebody who had 8 months in this business. Right? 8 months. They don't know if they're coming or going, but they had 8 months in this business. The figures that they put together for him were missing all kinds of information. So, on the surface, of course, it's going to appear to be a better deal because half of what you're going to pay at the time of closing wasn't even being disclosed to you. And, this client wanted me to take all this time and energy to try to justify, the differences between us and them. And it's basically you're asking me to explain why the other person doesn't know their job. And they have 8 months worth of experience. I have hundreds of reviews personally, of me personally, that, talk about how great of a lender I am. You want me to justify my value and worth versus somebody who has 8 months worth of experience. They don't know if they're coming or going. So in this case, this client gets the pleasure of paying what I like to call stupid tax. Okay. And stupid tax is you are unwilling to listen to really what is solid guidance and direction, and you think you know this process better than my 28, 29 years worth of experience because you used Google and you watched some YouTube videos, and now you think you know everything that you need to know about this mortgage process, when in fact you don't, because most loan officers don't know what they need to know about this process. So now you get to work with this person who has 8 months worth of experience, who didn't disclose half of the stuff to you. Your transaction's not going to close on time. Your transaction has to close by the end of the year, or it's going to cost you thousands of dollars, which isn't going to happen because he had a relatively complex transaction that needed to come together, but he wanted to believe he got the deal that nobody else could get. Okay, well, you can believe whatever you want. There's what you believe, and then there's what's reality and what actually happens. Now, in this case, this person's going to pay stupid tax, and his agent wanted me to try to help him and continue to work with the guy. And there's a point in time where, for me, I recognize that a client may not be the best fit for our practice. We give him the opportunity to go someplace else. And this is one where, he was, hell-bent on this deal, is better than yours, blah, blah, blah. Hey, you can want to believe what you want. I've explained what the differences are. You don't want to understand or accept those differences, then you get the opportunity to go to the other place. You get the opportunity to pay stupid tax, and long term, it's actually going to cost you way more than what you realize, right? So, don't put yourself in a position where you pay stupid tax because you're unwilling to listen. You're unwilling to, trust the guidance of an expert and somebody who knows what they're doing. In those cases, you put yourself at risk, because you think you got a deal that was better when, in all honesty, more often than not, it ends up costing you a heck of a lot more when it's all said and done. So, you want to find somebody that you trust, somebody that you respect, that they have knowledge, they know what they're doing, that they're going to give you honest answers. Whether or not you want to hear them, they're going to give you honest answers and help you through this process, so that way you can make a good informed decision. Because too often people want to, take what they're told at, surface level without, really asking more questions or really understanding how this process works or why things play out a certain way. You really need to have somebody who has kind of the heart of a teacher, who's going to take the time to, teach you, what the, if you will, aspects of your transaction are, and how they impact you and how they impact that overall picture for your final mortgage when it's all said and done. We've done that for now going on 29 years, where we've taken the time to educate our clients and help them understand this process. Not everybody likes the mortgage process, okay? Not everybody's going to enjoy it, but we've taken the time to try to help clients understand why things work a certain way, why the costs are a certain way, and what options you have to try to put together that total overall picture that makes the most sense for you when it's all said and done. So do yourself a favor. Don't pay stupid tax. Work with us. Life's a lot simpler when you work with people who know what they're doing, and it's a lot easier if you work with us, because we have, if you will, the tools to be able to serve you. But we do lend throughout the entire U.S., pretty much all 50 states. Now, we don't offer every product in all 50 states, and if the product you need is one that we don't offer in the state that you are in, we will try to get you connected with somebody who can serve you. Just recently did that for a client of ours in Wisconsin. She had a need for a specific product that we didn't offer in that state. We were able to get her connected with somebody who was knowledgeable in that particular product and knew what they were doing. So we were able to make that connection for her, which helped her because the lender she had started the process with, the whole deal went sideways, right? So you can have that, the knowledge and experience of the person you work with. It matters, guys. I can't tell you how often, I have these conversations with people because people don't know what to ask for. Like, ask, your lender, how long have you been in this business? How many people have you worked with? Do you have experience with these types of loans? Do you have clients that are raving fans? Where's the person's reviews? Does that individual person have a number of raving reviews, or do they not? And if they don't, why don't they? Right? Like, you got to start asking yourselves these questions, or you could be like the guy who says, oh, well, this person, I filled out a form online and it told me that it was going to give me all of this information. And the person I'm working with has 8 months worth of experience. I think I'm going to do that because this looks really good. You don't know what you don't know, right? So don't fall victim or prey to paying stupid tax. Make sure you work with somebody who has experience, knows what they're doing. Like I said, make that job a heck of a lot easier on yourself. Just work with us. Again, I'm Dan Morales, America's Mortgage Man. My NMLS number is 709-729. You can call me at 616-931-4629. Again, 616-931-4629. You can find me online at danmorales.com. That's DANMORALEZ.com. I hope you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving. I am thankful for you listeners to this podcast. If you have a question, you have a concern, or you have something that we can answer for you in a future episode, I would love to take your email or your phone call and answer what we can for you. We will be doing a kind of frequently asked questions or just listener questions episodes for the next probably several weeks here. A number of you have reached out with really good questions, and they're oftentimes multifaceted questions as far as the answer. So I'm going to be covering those in the weeks to come. So for those of you who have reached out, just know that there's a lot more coming your way, and I hope you find the information enjoyable. Hey, again, thanks for listening. Again, I'm Dan Morales, America's Mortgage Man. I work for North Point Bank, NMLS number 709729, and of course, North Point Bank is an equal housing lender. Have a good one.